It's the weekend.
Warriors, Warriors, come on to play.
Yeah, here we go.
Good Saturday morning, everybody. We're broadcasting live from the Weekend Warriors studios in beautiful Peoria, Arizona. I'm Ralph Romano, alongside my partner in crime. We've got Mr. Luke, head bobbing right, and no Philip Amorine today. He's off, I don't know, doing something. But this is the Weekend Warriors.
He's blazing his own trail.
Is he blazing his own trail? He's probably getting in trouble.
Yeah.
That's what Phil does. So today, first off, you can go ahead and we're streaming everywhere, right? We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on X, we're even on Instagram. Go ahead and watch us there, listen to us, do whatever you do. Today, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Oh my gosh, there's a ton of stuff to talk about. And who better than us?
No one. There's no one better than us.
Nobody better than us.
We waited for Phil to leave for a week. We decided to just hit story after story. Our group chat was buzzing all week with just screenshots of Yahoo Sports because for whatever reason, that's who pops up on my feed.
And we know when Phil's on the show, there's going to be nonsense. He's going to say stupid things. He's going to pick stupid teams. And we just can't have that this week.
No. We can't have a repeat of the Cowboys making it to the Super Bowl. 1 week was enough. We can't be doing this back to back.
Exactly. So this week, what we're going to do is we're going to hit on college. It's week 0, guys. We're going to hit on college football. You're going to get a pick by Mr. Luke Wright. What do we call that segment? It's the right
value.
The right value. Oh, my goodness. Then we're going to touch on some baseball. Got a tiny bit about soccer, and then it's NFL as we get ready for the season. So let's get started, I think, right now. One of the biggest things that I saw that came over the wire was this question that keeps coming up, and there's been a lot of reaction to it about NFL players going back to college. I didn't even know this was a thing until I started seeing this come up. I had no idea this was a thing. Did you? Did you have a clue?
I was worried. I knew that there was as soon as the court ruled for all of the players who, to their credit, did not jump to the NFL, all the players who were just trying to fight for that 5th year of eligibility, when I heard their ruling, I immediately thought, uh-oh, what have we unleashed? What's happening now? And then the second I saw that the court case got ruled in favor of the 5th year eligibility is when I immediately saw the former Cleveland Browns tight end who was like, I'm going back to college. I'm not good enough for this. I'm not cut out for NFL right now. Get me back to college and let me make some money in the NIL.
So undrafted free agents that went to the camps that got cut are eligible now, according to the court ruling, to come back to college and get that 5th year of eligibility. According to the court, right?
According to the courts, I'm trying to remember the exact phrasing of it. I don't know if they officially ruled in their favor or if they just simply have done a temporary injunction for the season. But yes, if you are on an NFL roster before cutdown day, which is tomorrow. But if you're on an NFL roster and you went through all the training camp and you played in preseason games against NFL talent and you realize you can't cut it, you can just head right back to college.
Now, the SEC and the Big Ten didn't like this, apparently.
Understandably.
I read that they quickly banned players who had been in NFL rosters from competing. And also that the Big 12 is now moving in that direction at all to ban players. And I even saw something about coaches getting, I think you sent it over, maybe it was Phil, about coaches getting suspended if they allow it to happen.
So the SEC gave their commissioner basically emergency powers. And basically, if you violate their new rules, your coach can be suspended 50% of the team's contests, along with a fine equal to 50% of the sports operating budget. Not the football budget, the sports operating budget. Now, do you want to take a wild guess at what their operating expenses were last year? For LSU.
For LSU?
For LSU, because Lane Kiffin, despite all of the SEC immediately saying we're not doing this, Lane Kiffin was in fact the first person to call up that tight end from Cleveland and be like, come on back down, buddy.
Right.
So guess what LSU athletics did in operating expenses for 2025?
20 million.
219 million. So according to this rule, from my understanding, because it's based off of their budget, so based off my understanding, they could be fined up to basically $110 million.
That's not going to fly.
No, it's absolutely
ridiculous.
not. But I get it. This is their version of we're going to put in our own death penalty just to like make sure and try as hard as we can that this isn't going to happen. And guess what? The courts are already on it. Just yesterday about it.
Here's my thing. If college football players are basically professionals now anyway, they're paid athletes, right? For the most part.
Yeah.
Right. So if we consider them really amateur, the amateur status thing is gone. It's dead. That thing died with the NIL. So if we have college football players that are basically professionals, why shouldn't an NFL player be allowed to come back if they and get that eligibility if they have it that 1 year? What's the big deal?
For me personally, the big deal is you have to draw the line somewhere.
Okay.
Because if we don't draw the line now, we run into the risk of what happened to the NCAA. They decided to make all of these extreme archaic rules that nobody agreed with, and they thought they could just get away with it because they were the NCAA. And now we're seeing what happens when you get so bad that you have to bring the courts in on a regular basis, because now the NCAA has virtually no power.
Right.
If we don't stop this right now, you could potentially see a 35-year-old vet of the NFL be like, hey, maybe I can't compete at the NFL level anymore, but I can go still beat up some kids in college for a couple years and make an extra couple million NIL. And
but is that a bad thing?
I personally think it's a bad thing.
Don't you think the NIL has totally destroyed amateur sports? It's dead, right? These are professionals. So what does that matter? It'll take on the look of minor league baseball. Minor league baseball is exactly that, right? Guys, you could have a 30-year-old come into the minor leagues and play ball.
And I think the difference is that minor league team is associated with an NFL team. I have long been the proponent of the NFL having its own minor league system. They've never bothered to because there was college. That was their minor leagues. You played there for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and then you can make the jump to the NFL. I think that there might actually be more talks of developing a minor league system now that is actually affiliated with specific teams. Because to me, that's the difference there. If I sign a 35-year-old washed up veteran player that I might want his leadership for in September, but if he doesn't do well, I can send him down to the minors and not take up a spot. That works for me because he's affiliated with me. Whereas here in college, it just becomes a free-for-all. Also, what's to stop them to say, hey, I don't like that you didn't give me the contract I wanted. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back down. I'm going to play in college for a couple years, keep up some money, and then I'll come back when the contract has expired or whatever the case may be, and then be back.
I mean, well, they only give them 1 year eligibility, right?
For now.
For now. I mean, you say free for all. College football is a free for all right now. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you really look at it, it's a 1 year and done rule now, because basically players just go from team to team depending on who's going to pay them the most. It's professional football at a lower level.
Absolutely. And I think that as crazy as it is right now, we are still not even at its peak craziness. It will get worse before it gets better. Somebody's going to have to fight the judges, and eventually they're going to have to find a judge that agrees with them. Otherwise, I don't know where college sports goes from here.
I'm really curious what people think about this. So anyone that you're watching right now, and we've got a good amount of people watching, I'd really curious. What do you guys think? Are you for this? Are you against this? Me personally, I don't have an issue. Let them come back. Let them play ball. College football is not what it was anymore anyway. I don't even consider it college football anymore. I'm sorry. It's dead and gone. Anyone can come back, it seems, and play. You can go anywhere, play anywhere. You're getting paid. What does it matter if a practice squad guy or somebody that didn't make a team comes back down and gets a 5th year of eligibility right now? Let them have it. That's fine. They talk about, it's going to create an unbalanced or unfair competitive advantage. Well, no, it's not. The NIL does that now, right? It's all about who has the money and who can draw those people. So that's a bad argument. That's a really bad argument. I don't want to hear that, because all you have to do is like the Indianas of last year that gets Mark Cuban's money to go ahead and back them. They bring in who they want and they win a national championship. This is no different. So
I don't mind the concept of this right now. It's just, to me, you have to put a stop to it somewhere. And you might as well put a stop to it here. Otherwise, I think it will reach levels of insanity that I just don't want to deal with.
So you just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right,
I don't want Jamar Chase going back to LSU.
How cool would that be?
It would be the funniest season of college football of all time.
I would enjoy that. I'd like to see Sam Darnold back at USC for a season. Yeah. Why not? I think that'd be fun.
I'm glad one of us does.
Come on, Caleb Williams come back for a season? Sure, why not?
You know what? Give me Baker. Give me Baker back in OU for a year.
Oh, Tanner Grinds on the chat says the NCAA has been 5 steps behind the entire NIL process, which is true.
Yeah.
Had they been more active instead of reactive, then it might not be a big issue. Very true. I mean, they've kind of not done a thing about any of that. The NIL is basically the Wild West. It's been like that now for a few years, and it's getting worse every year.
And it's going to get worse before it gets better. This was the biggest flop by the NCAA. You had years to start to build up a coherent, logical, and agreed upon process for everyone. Instead, you fought kicking and screaming every opportunity you could, and you dug yourself into such a deep hole that now nobody respects your opinion, and now every single judge is willing to just say, too bad, you suck. We're going to rule for the players.
You know, that's a really good point. I don't think anyone takes the NCAA serious anymore, right? They're a joke. No. They've lost all their juice, all their power, and people, I think, just ignore them now. They don't really even care what they say. I think if they were to put a penalty on somebody or a ruling on somebody, they would just be ignored. No one cares.
Yeah. What are they? I think every single court case they have tried in the past, 5 to 7 years, they have lost. Mm-hmm. Every major one, at least. That's why the NIL exists, is because they lost in court. Yep. If they just spent too long punishing people for the dumbest things, and now they've lost all their power. It would not surprise me if within the next 5 to 10 years, the NCAA is gone. The only thing they have is the March Madness, because realistically, they don't even do that much with the football playoffs anymore. Yeah. All of that's now handled by other committees and other sponsors and everything. All the NCAA has to cling on to is March Madness, and it is not going to be that much longer with the direction they're taking that, to where eventually the conferences will just say, we don't need you anymore, and they'll just go do their own thing.
And I feel like March Madness is losing some of its juice too now, because they're just letting too many teams in, right?
64.
Eventually, we're going to be at 100 teams. It's starting to lose its juice and its importance when you start doing that. So I think the NCAA, I'm with you. I think they go away, and they go away in the next 5 years. I really see that happening.
100%. Get him out
There'll
of
be
here.
some kind of a governing body, I think, over, if we even call it college football, whatever we're going to call it, there'll be some governing body over this professional level of sports, because it is a professional level of sports now.
Yeah, it'll be all of the Big Four conference presidents, and they'll all meet, once or twice a year, make up rules for all the conferences. They'll allow a couple like of the power or the next level of college athletics. Some of them can all pull together to have one vote, and that's how you'll start to see decisions made.
Yeah, I agree. I even, it's funny. This is even starting to drip down into high school, and there are weird things that are going on down there now. So it's like high school is almost replacing college.
Yeah,
in a sense.
Waiting for middle school.
Yeah. Well, that's already happened in basketball, so we know that.
Oh, absolutely. Basketball's taking it to a whole new level.
Yeah. Bitter Dolphin fan on the line says, at first I was against it, but Ralph, you make a good point, especially with the NIL angle. I can't agree with you more, Bitter Dolphin fan. I make a good point.
I agree with you from the aspect of I honestly don't care about Daquan Wright coming back to college. Right. I just don't want the second, third year NFL players to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's where you could put a rule around it, right? How many years removed from college? So put an age on it.
Yeah.
You could do that. Otherwise, you will get 28, 30-year-old guys coming back, or even 35-year-old guys that are like Aaron Rodgers, come back to Cal for a year.
Can you imagine? All you need is one booster and one mid-level NFL quarterback who does not care about anything other than making money. And you just sign him to the biggest NIL contract of all time. And you have Joe Burrow playing for LSU on a 5-year deal. And he's just killing it.
That would really be cool to watch, though.
It would be hilarious, and also the death of college athletics officially. That would be the date that Joe Burrow suits up for LSU again. That would be the date I would put on the headstone of college football.
That headstone's already being made.
Oh yeah, no, it's in the process. It's all the letters are being chiseled in one by one. We're just waiting, I think, for that final official date, and something like that would be it.
All right. So talking about this, let's switch to, we are in week 0. We love week 0. I love week 0 because my team's playing today. So that's kind of cool. I get to watch them after this. But let's kind of talk about some of the games happening in week 0 as college football is officially kicked off. Right now, as we're speaking, TCU and North Carolina are playing over in Dublin, Ireland. Here we go with this freaking international model. Let's keep following that. So TCU versus North Carolina are out in Ireland right now. They're in almost at halftime. It's 10-10 in that game. That's kind of a little surprising to me. I kind of thought, I don't know, didn't expect a 10-10 score. But then again, they're in Ireland. It throws everything off. The kids are drunk by last night. We don't know what's going on.
I don't even think UNC has their defensive coordinator. I don't know. I don't know if something changed, but last I had heard, Belichick's son, the DC, hadn't made the trip to Ireland.
Oh, really?
I don't know if he ended up joining last second or something, but yeah, like that's even their own DC was like, nah, I'll catch you on the next one.
I mean, the score shocks you, right?
I thought TCU was going to blow them out.
I did too. And they still might.
Yeah, it's still early. Like you said, some of them might be a little hungover possibly. But like it is interesting to see, because I had significantly higher hopes for TCU than I did for North Carolina. I think that this is just kind of the end of Bill's career in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. The leader in rushing for UNC has a total of 15 yards rushing on 2 carries. That's it.
Is it Damon June?
No, it is Jalen McGill.
Oh.
And so like I'm very
Damon June is their guy. He's like a Doak Walker watch list guy.
He doesn't have a single carry.
Oh, good. He must have really drank.
Right. He's out of it. He's fully gone. But like they're not rushing the ball very well. Their quarterback's only 7 of 15. Like I don't know. Their defense must clearly be carrying them, but will be interested to see how this game unfolds throughout the rest of the show.
I'm going to predict a pull away second half for TCU, who was an 8.5 point favorite coming in. I predict that they will cover that spread.
Cover?
Yes.
I think I'll go with you. I'll say they cover 10 points.
Really?
Yeah.
I might have to bet.
I just don't trust UNC at all.
Well, I'm with you. I think this is the year that Belichick is going to be embarrassingly removed from college sports and from sports, period.
Yeah, I hope that this is his wake-up call, however this season goes.
Right.
So just hang it up, go have fun, enjoy your retirement with the wife that's a third your age. Just relax. Enjoy yourself.
Right. Next game. Before next game, this is for Bitter Dolphin fan. Halftime right now, we got a 2-0 lead by Dortmund over Hamburg. Just wanted to let you know that. And that's your team, Hamburg.
I know.
So I'm beating you right now, 2-0 in the Bundesliga opening game. Just want to put that out there.
It's happening right now?
Right now. It's 2-0 Dortmund. So I want to put that out there. I know it's for me and you, it's important. And for Bitter Dolphin fan, he loves the Bundesliga.
Oh, it's 7:21 p.m. in Germany. I was like, how are they playing this late?
Yeah, a little ahead of us. All right, the next game in week 0, I have a lot of interest in. San Jose State at number 14 USC. USC is a 38.5 point favorite in this game, and they should be. I'm looking forward to seeing the next version of quarterback Jaden Mayava. I really liked what he had last year. I think he'll be even better this year. I think he'll be a Heisman candidate. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he comes out. I think typically in Lincoln Riley's teams, this goes back to the old Big 12 days when they're playing teams like San Jose State, for instance. They have a tendency to run the score up. They average like 56 points a game against those teams. So I anticipate a big day for USC's offense and not a very big day for San Jose State. I think SC will blow them out.
I always feel a little bad when I see games like this. As the Longest Yard famously put it, the tune-up games where you just pay a small school a lot of money to just beat the crap out of them before the season really starts. I would hope USC covers. I'm not worried. They will absolutely score 56 points. It's just how much will the defense give up? It's San Jose State, so I'm going to guess no more than maybe 10 points. Right. But this is going to be a blowout. This is the game that I am not excited for at all. I understand why you are. You got the hat, you got the shirt. USC, I get why you're excited for it. I'm personally going to be completely ignoring it. This is one of those games that you look at in the ticker at the bottom and you just make sure that USC is up by 40 and you just completely expunge it from your memory. Unless I look down at that ticker and it's like a 5-point, 3-point game in the late in the third, I'm not going to pay that game a second of attention.
See, that's my point. Games like this, right? While, yeah, they should be lopsided blowouts, SC has to blow them out because if they don't, it looks bad on them to all the idiots that vote for, the playoff spots and everything else. So you have to come out and destroy a team like this. If you don't, it's a question mark put next to your name as you go down the season. And I hate that, but that's just reality.
It's not did you win, it's how you won.
Right. So Are you a legitimate playoff team this year, or are you just another year of Lincoln Riley and USC being so-so? And if I'm Lincoln Riley, I better come out and blow these guys out because I better have a good year or I'm out of a job.
Permanently.
He's playing for his job. So, yeah, this is a big deal. So, I mean, as a stupid game as it is, it actually does have pretty important pieces to it.
Tickets as low as $9. You can hop on a plane and get a ticket and see the second half.
Don't make it in time.
You could see the second half.
I just don't think I could get there. Bitter Dolphin fan says Byron won yesterday 5-1 over Stuttgart in the Bundesliga opening night. Well, that's just like SC against San Jose State. You better win 5-1. If not, I've got questions for you. Just saying. Tanner Grind's on there saying no ticker to look at. What? No ticker to look at anymore, though, at least on ESPN? What?
That's
they took
true.
it out?
Yeah,
Is that a new thing?
they announced it, I think, like this past week, maybe. That was another like little side story. But yeah, for what they wanted, I think their reasoning was they wanted like a cleaner viewing experience. So they just completely removed the ticker.
I love the ticker.
We have the ticker. Yeah, I've not seen a single person who was like, "Oh, thank God you removed the ticker. It was ruining my watch experience." So, like, I don't know what the thought process was here.
You know, ESPN, not the smartest company anymore nowadays. They make a lot of really bad decisions, and I think this is another one.
It is tough.
I think they're just trying to get people to stop watching them.
It's tough watching the company that, like, growing up, this was it. This was your one option. When I was growing up, even I know when you were growing up, I don't even know if ESPN was around at that point yet. But I was growing up,
it was not.
This was the only option you really had. Fox Sports might have barely started as a thing, but nobody watched it. It was literally just ESPN. I would wake up and I'd put on Sports Center. And when I got home from school, I would put on Sports Center. And it was good. It was like you could watch the full hour or 2 hours of Sports Center and you would learn things. You would see professionals talking intelligently about the game. You would see them like highlight different players. You would see them highlight the league leaders of the different stats. You would see all of these things and you would like just learn about all of the various sports throughout the year. Like in 7th, 8th grade, I could have told you the top 20 players in rushing yards, receiving yards. I could have told you who was leading the league in touchdowns. I could have told you all of that just from the hour or two a day I was watching Sports Center. Nowadays, it's all of these terrible debate shows. It's all just garbage. I'm waiting for the day that somebody brings back what Sports Center used to be.
I wish somebody would do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll ever happen. I mean, when I grew up, we didn't have any of this. We had shortwave radio. So I used to listen to Seahawks games on shortwave.
You didn't even have FM?
I was in LA and they didn't play Seattle in FM. So I'd have to find them in shortwave. And I used to find them in shortwave and play them. That was crazy growing up. I used to sit in front of the shortwave radio and listen to Seattle Seahawks football.
Wow.
That's how old I am.
That sounds miserable.
Just saying. I remember when ESPN came on board, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. That and MTV, coolest things ever. And they've both been destroyed. So it's a shame. All right. Enough about them. Next game. I'm going to avoid a game real quick. I'm going to stay at the next game. This is kind of a big game. So North Dakota State, their first game as an FBS program. As you all know, they joined the Mountain West. They're part of the FBS now. And they're playing Jackson State at home, 7-point favored. Jacksonville State. I'm sorry, not Jackson State. Jacksonville State's entering year 2 under former Alabama assistant Charles Kelly. So what we're going to look at in this game, at least what I'm looking at, is North Dakota State. Do they immediately look like they belong in the FBS? Or are we going to look at them and go, man, they're going to need some transition time, a year or two? Really curious to see what we're going to see today. What do you think?
I think we're going to see them prove that they're ready. I don't think there's going to be that much transition time. I think that this is a good program that has proved over the years that they were just simply too dominant for the FCC or the FCS. So I really don't think that there will be that much of a transition year, especially early on when they are psyched, they're pumped. They know that they have to prove that they're ready for this. So I think that early on in the year, especially, you will see them be able to continue to win games. I don't know if they're going to dominate as much as they did in FCS, but I do believe that they will come out strong in this game at home. That crowd is going to be insane. Honestly, I hope that they are on College Game Day this year. I hope one week that they give them their flowers and they go there for a college game day.
Look, if they can put Colorado on college game day because of Deion Sanders, they should put North Dakota State. That's a better story. That's a better program. Definitely. If they're winning right out of the gate, they'll definitely put them on there. I would have put them on early, personally, just in case.
That's why I'm thinking. I'm like, this is one that you get out of the way early, just in case. And if you need to, now you know for next year you can wait till late in the year.
Right. Next match, I'm with you. I think I like ND State. I think that 7 point. I think they cover the spread. I think they belong. That's just a great program. Been great for years. I think they've been, so dominant at that second level. They deserve to be at this level now, and I'm really curious to see how their season goes. I think they'll have a good year. I think they'll be above 500. I don't think they'll be like some outrageous. They're not going to be talking about them for a national championship or anything like that. But I think they'll have a good year. They'll be very respectable.
Same.
Next game, which nobody cares about, Sacramento State at Eastern Michigan. So Sacramento State's first time in the MAC. This is their first game as a MAC member, so that's kind of a big deal for them. This is where you start talking about realignment, where you have a California school playing in the MAC. Kind of makes no sense whatsoever, but kind of like SC playing in the Big Ten makes no sense.
Yeah.
But at least for them, it's because it's a power conference. But anyway, Sacramento State at Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan enters at about a 9.5-point favorite. I know nothing about either one of these teams.
I know one is the Sacramento State Hornets and the other is the Eastern Michigan Eagles. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have a strong opinion or any knowledge about either of these teams. This just feels like this is their only opportunity to get on television.
Yeah, they're on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, they didn't even get like live cable. They just got somewhere on the app. And I think that this is just to fill out the schedule for week 0. And they knew that this was their opportunity to get the most eyes on them.
So with that, let's switch over to the CW at 4:00. We've got New Mexico State at Florida State. This is interesting. So this is another like SC thing, in my opinion. FSU is a 31.5-point favorite at home against New Mexico State. Not the most dominant program that you'll ever read about. And I think this is the same question as USC. Does Florida State come out and dominate this New Mexico State team, or is it just this ho-hum game and their year is going to be ho-hum? Because this is a huge underdog. This is the same exact setup as SC. I think Florida State will absolutely dominate New Mexico State in this game. I think they'll probably cover this spread, 31.5 points. I think they could win by 40. What do you think?
Ditto.
Okay.
I mean, it's just one of the, it's another tune-up game. Florida State needs this very badly, exactly like what you said about USC. Like they can't afford to not dominate these games because they are in one of the quote unquote weaker conferences. Out of the Power 4, they are in the third or fourth of those. So like you need these wins early on, especially because they play back-to-back ranked opponents after this. They play SMU at home and then they go to Bama. So you absolutely needed this like game to help knock off the rust, see where you're at, and you need to win this game by 40. Otherwise, you are going to be in for a very long year.
Ditto. I think we both agree on that. All right, this next game I like. This is interesting. So I know in my earlier years, not growing up, but right after that, I was a big Hawaii Rainbow guy. I liked watching that Hawaii game that was always on like at 9:00 at night on the Pacific Coast till midnight, up watching Hawaii Rainbows. And Hawaii is playing Stanford today at Stanford. They're a 4-point underdog. Last year, if you think back, Hawaii actually beat Stanford last year. Hawaii is tough at home. They're one of those places where teams fly out to, they kind of lose their focus. So that's why it happens a lot. But this is a sneaky, interesting Hawaii team. They might be better than a lot of people think this year. So I'm really looking for an upset. I think Hawaii has a great chance at upsetting Stanford today. What do you think?
I'm just going to go Stanford. I do like. I think Hawaii is probably not getting the flowers it deserves. But I think just at home, it's the first game of the week. You know that you're going to have a lot of eyes on you. I think that Stanford will cover, and I think that this will be like it'll be a relatively good game. You're not going to have a ton of people in the stands. I think you have a few too many other events happening in LA this year. I think Stanford's still technically in LA, right?
No, it's
No,
north.
it's
They're
north.
they're up in the San Francisco area. They're just south of
Oh,
San Francisco.
well, that goes to show you how much I know about geography of Stanford. I think that they'll still take this.
All right. I think this would be a good game to watch. If you got nothing else to do, you got the ACC network, turn it on.
That's the best part about week 0. You always have a football game you can just throw on in the background.
This next matchup, this is probably the most competitive matchup of the day. We have Memphis at UNLV. It's funny, when you think UNLV, you don't really think football powerhouse. When I think UNLV, I always think Randall Cunningham. That's how far back I go. Randall Cunningham played for UNLV.
Wow.
But this is the best late game of week 0 because it's the only late game. But UNLV had a home to play Memphis. They are, let me see, what is the spread? UNLV entered a 4.5-point favorite over Memphis. This game, you have that running back at UNLV. I don't know much you know about him. His name is, I think it's Jaden the Jet Thomas, right? He's for UNLV. He's an interesting all Mountain West running back. So he'll be the guy to watch tonight. I like UNLV. I hate their uniforms. I like UNLV. I think they can win this game. I think they'll cover. And I think this will be a really competitive, fun game to watch, personally. What do you think?
I don't think that this is going to be a super competitive game. I think UNLV is going to blow them away.
All right.
You've got a team traveling East Coast to West Coast. They're going to Vegas week 0. We just talked about how like Hawaii is a tough game in Hawaii because people kind of lose focus. Same thing with Vegas. I think that UNLV is just kind of the more talented team, even if they are having to start Jackson Arnold at quarterback, former OU not so great. But I do just think overall UNLV has some very good talent on offense. And I think that playing at home in week 0 against a team who has to travel from East Coast time, I just think that it's going to be too much for Memphis to overcome. I think UNLV wins by double digits.
See, I think this game is, you know what the group of 6 is, obviously. This game is as big for the group of 6. This is one of those conferences that'll be in that group of 6 for the playoffs, where one of these teams, especially I think UNLV, has a shot to kind of put themselves out there as a potential to be one of those group of 6 guys. You know what I mean by that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if everybody knows what group of 6 is. Maybe you can. It's the 6 conferences in Division I that get they get a playoff spot, don't they?
I believe all 6.
Spot.
Yeah, all 6 of them are combined. It's basically it's the conferences like the MAC. It's the conferences like
Mountain West,
Conference USA.
Yep. Mountain West, Pac-12, Sun Belt, and American Athletic Conference.
There we go. And so like the best, or the highest rated team out of all of them will get a playoff spot this year. And this will be important for that distinction. I think it'll be very interesting to see. I think UNLV is one of those like dark horse teams for a playoff spot. Boise, I believe, is the one who got it with Janty 2 years ago.
Yep.
That was how they were able. That was basically the only reason why they were able to make the playoffs, was because they were able to get that power or the 6 playoff spot.
Do you think that having this design, having this group of 6 is a good thing or a bad thing? Because a group of 6 is taking a playoff spot away from a team that is obviously way better than any of these teams. Do you think it's deserving because they have to represent these 6 week conferences? Or should we just pick the 12 best teams?
I think it's deserving, and I think it's a good thing. I think that having that underdog story is always going to end well, even if it doesn't end well every year. The years that it goes well will always be memorable. I personally, there was a lot of talk like ASU was that underdog the year that they made a deep run. There were a lot of people who thought that ASU was not one of the top 12 best in the country, and they shouldn't have even made the playoffs. They were all wrong. They took Texas to the wire and honestly probably should have won. Not that I'm biased at all by that. But no, I do think that the group of 6 seed is a important part. And I think it's just something to give teams to work towards. And sure, they're more often than not, they will make it to the playoffs and then instantly lose.
Yeah.
But the once every 4 or 5 years they get a win will be legendary. Think of how much we love seeing the 16 seed beat the 1 seed.
Yeah.
For years, it was a joke. It was like, this is just, you couldn't do it. And then Virginia, thank you, Virginia, for taking one for the team there, lost. And now every year there's just that tiny little bit of hope that you think, are we going to get another upset? Are we going to get another upset? And I think that with football, you can see that same mentality at work. It's just harder, takes though. One game. It is harder.
I mean, Tulane last year, who had a good team for what they were. I mean, they got destroyed by Ole Miss in the playoff 41-10. I mean, it wasn't even a game.
That Ole Miss team was real pissed, though. Out of all of the teams for them to have to play, that might have been the worst team that they had to face in the first round. But you're right. Like, more often than not, they're going to show up, they're going to get blown out, and then we'll wait until next year. But I think that those times where they do get the upset wins, or even just those times that they make it a competitive game, I think that those years will make it worth it. Yeah. And I do think it's nice to give them something to be able to earn.
Okay. You're that guy.
I am.
For me, take the 12 best teams in the country and let's play. I don't know. I feel it reminds me of everybody gets a trophy football. I just don't like it. They don't deserve to be there.
I would absolutely love, it's not going to happen now, but I would have loved to see Notre Dame lose it. Like last year. Notre Dame probably doesn't make it because of the group of 6. Yeah. And for me, that alone is worth it.
Jeez. All right, real quick on the tech line. You got Bitter Dolphin fan saying, also back then, the Seahawks were in the AFC. Yep, when I was on Shortwave, they were an AFC West team. I do remember that. I still wish they were in the AFC West because that's such a weak division. All right. There is one more game to talk about, but I think we're going to make that as part of a special segment that we haven't played for a while.
The books have set the lines. The public is chasing favorites, but he's looking for value. It's time for the right angle.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so for the keen eye observer, you might have noticed we skipped a game in the afternoon. A little ditty going on at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. The NC State Wolfpack taking on the Virginia Cavaliers in Virginia. Now, this isn't my usual look at value. I like to go for the ones that will quadruple your money or better. But it's week 0. We wanted to get a game out there for you. And I dug through the slate of games we had. And I thought about San Jose State. And I thought I'd rather just set $10 on fire. And I thought about the glorious New Mexico State, Florida State game. And I thought I'd rather just set $10 on fire. So I decided we'll take it down a notch. We'll go for something that is still plus money, but maybe isn't the biggest value swing you can find on the docket for today. We are going with NC State Wolfpack at plus 154 on DraftKings. I personally have been very high on NC State. You guys heard it when we did our preview a few weeks ago. I'm a big fan of them. I am specifically looking for CJ Bailey to have a huge year this year. I think that he will be a candidate for the best QB of the year award. I think he might be a dark horse Heisman. Very dark horse. I think he'll be on the list of finalists, but he'll be there because they want to give him recognition, not because he has a shot at winning. But he will be there. CJ Bailey, yep.
He is on the Maxwell and Walter Camp watch list, so
I really like him. He has made a huge jump from his first year to last year, and then this year I think that he will continue to make another jump in a conference that is not the strongest. It's not the weakest, but it's not the strongest. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they do, and I think it starts today. They are on week 1. They get the ESPN slate. They are on national television. People will be tuning in. This is Bailey's opportunity to start the season strong and confirm to everyone why he was on that watch list. I think he goes for 4 touchdowns today.
Wow.
4 touchdowns, passing and rushing combined. That's what I'm going for. So take NC State money line, go Wolfpack.
There it is. There's your value pick from Mr. Luke Wright. I will not give you my pick because if he's giving one for the show, we will leave it there. I will just tell you this is the game where you're going to find this. I call this the sleeper bowl. One of these teams could be the ACC sleeper team that kind of makes some noise this year in the ACC. So it starts with this game.
I thought you were going to call it the sleeper bowl because that's when everyone's going to be asleep. And I was like, that seems a little insulting to these teams. But
nope. And I have to end this segment like this.
The books have set the lines. The public is chasing favorites, but he's looking for value. It's time for the right angle.
It's time for it to be over, and it is. All right. We're getting ready to switch to a little bit of MLB. Before I do that, I want to mention we have a new subscriber on YouTube. Just subscribed about 20 minutes ago. Kevin Grind.
Kevin Grind.
Yes.
Wow. We're just grabbing all of the Grind family members.
We are grind friendly. Whatever that means.
I don't think I want to know whatever that means.
Yeah. So let's switch to the MLB for a little bit before we wind our way back to the NFL, which is where we'll close. But let's talk about the MLB. I think you might have sent this over the week, but the MLB completely wants to change free agency. I mean, they're not having enough problems right now with the CBA fight. It's huge, this fight. It's funny. I was talking to a really good friend of mine who his son and my son are like really big friends. They're like best friends. And his son plays for the Dodger organization. He's in AAA. And they were talking about how when this thing goes to a strike, which we all think it will, how it could impact those guys because they really can't do anything else, right? And these guys basically will be out of work for a year, maybe 2.
Yeah.
So you add things like this to the conversation where I'll let you explain it, but I think it just makes it even worse for this whole CBA argument that we're about to have.
This is a situation. I fully agree with you. I don't like, there's enough big issues here. You cannot keep bringing up more battles to fight if you're the MLB. So for those of you who don't know, one of the more recent plans that they did was to shorten the offseason free agency window down to like 2 to 3 weeks is what they're looking for. And basically, I want to make sure I explain this right. A free agent dead period, I'm putting dead period in quotes for our audio listeners, a free agent dead period until the first day of winter meetings where trades are permitted and players can negotiate with clubs but not sign. The free agency window is from the first day of winter meetings, December 21st, and from the first day in February onward. No signings or trades between December 21st and the first Monday in February. So that's kind of what they're proposing. It's basically, for those of you who don't know, in that period between the first day of winter meetings and the first Monday of February, that would be the dead period, or as the NFL calls it, the legal tampering period, because this is something the NFL already does.
Right.
And
then
but basically,
does too.
yes. Basically, the whole shtick of Blake Griffin and Chris Paul holding DeAndre Jordan hostage in his house so he couldn't leave, that was during their tampering period, for those of you who remember that callback. But basically, in this period, players can negotiate with teams, but they can't sign with them. And so that is what we would be looking for. The MLB Players Association, very much against it. It says it would eliminate player rights. And it's just another huge sticking point that I have to imagine was only introduced so that they would have things to take away in the later stages of bargaining. I talked about this probably like a month or two ago when we had another discussion on the different proposals. I think that what we are seeing is the MLB is still adding things to their proposals so that 3 months from now, 4 months, 6 months from now, when they really start negotiating, they will have bargaining chips that they can take away to make it seem like they are agreeing with and giving into the players' union. I think that's what this is. But that is what they are currently proposing.
I think this is interesting. I kind of see both sides of this. On one hand, owners could potentially just wait players out until February, so they have an upper hand, right? We're pushing them out till February.
Yep.
You know, guys like Scott Boras that like to push it out with unsigned stuff going on, blah, blah, blah. You're actually creating this fun, interesting thing that you could be watching. You know, as fans, it could create some excitement for fans, I think, to kind of watch this play itself out. So from a fan perspective, this could be pretty cool. From an owner perspective, it kind of does give them a little bit of an advantage, I think, which I don't think they need any more advantage than they already have. But it does align itself with the NFL and the NBA. And they do say the MLB does have an entertainment issue with its whole process. So if you look at it that way, you're now creating some entertainment in the process, which I think the MLB wants. So that's why they're trying to go. That's one of the reasons I think they're trying to go down this road. I think the owners are trying to do it because they want leverage. But I can understand where the players are coming from. Because if you're trying to bid with multiple teams and stuff, this could really hurt your ability to do that by compressing the market. It really makes you have to do things in a lot shorter time frame, a lot quicker space, which a lot of the players don't want to do that. So because it does hurt them. So I think everyone here has got a really good side to it. There's a fan perspective, which could be really fun, owner perspective where they can have a little bit of advantage, player perspective where maybe it's going to hurt them a little bit. Again, all this does is create more confusion and more issues for an already complex CBA discussion that I think after seeing stuff like this coming out, I'm almost confident we're going to see this a 2-year gig. I really do. I think this strike, I was telling my buddy, I said, I think 1 year is a given. I think we go into the second year easily, and then maybe start having conversations as we get toward almost quarter way through the season of the second year. And maybe if everybody decides to put their pants on right, we're playing half a season that second year, or we're just going to miss the whole season. But I really believe that's going to be what's going to happen. And this is just another piece of that kind of supports what I've been thinking, in my opinion.
I think that I wouldn't be shocked at a second year or it dragging on into the second year. I'm confident in the first year. I'm still expecting it to be done before the second year starts. I think what makes this kind of proposal so interesting is that they are right in the standpoint of this does create drama, it does create entertainment. And we talk about all the time in the NFL and the NBA tampering. It's that like flurry and rush of all of the signings but they're not signings. And like they agreed to this, but then they ended up backing out and they ended up going with this. And like, it does go along with a lot of that. And it does make for good entertainment, if nothing else. The one thing that I think makes this so interesting. And out of all of the major sports, I actually think baseball might need this the most, is simply because, unlike football and basketball, I cannot, as a MLB pitcher specifically, I can't just start. I can't just go out there and I can't just play game one or game 2 or 3 or 4, wherever they are in the rotation. We've seen this time and time again. I mean, it happened famously with the D-backs with Jordan Montgomery, who is also a Scott Boras he was represented by Scott Boras at that time. I don't know if he still is anymore, but Scott Boras pushed him to wait and wait and wait. It completely backfired on him. He signed too late. He wasn't ready for his day one, his first start in the rotation, and they ended up having to push it out, and he still ended up just having a terrible year. And then he ended up getting hurt. So like, I think that this is an interesting conversation because we are seeing that. And I think as a fan myself, I personally hate when they do it. I hate when they're waiting until a week or 2 or in the middle of spring training to finally sign with the team. And especially the pitchers who need all of this buildup and they need to stretch out. They can't just go in there and throw 80 pitches day one. That's not really how it typically works. I think that this would be really good for baseball. I know it's only really impacts that small group of players in baseball, but I do just think that like it's an interesting dynamic to have. And out of all of the off seasons, baseball is the worst. No one cares about the baseball draft. No one really, like, the winter meetings get a little bit of coverage, but not much. I think most sports fans don't even fully understand what the winter meetings are per se. I think they just look at it as like the start of free agency. So I actually am also on board with this. Like, let's go ahead. Let's give them this opportunity. And like, let's see how a legal tampering period would work.
Okay. I can see that. On Instagram, we have Paycaz saying, I think Ralph used CB radio to call his friends. I did have a CB radio, by the way. So
did you have friends?
I had a lot of friends. I had too many friends. That's the problem. And they weren't good friends. They were just bad friends doing bad things. But anyway, we're not going to go there. Thank you, Paycaz. I appreciate you participating with my age. All right. Next topic, MLB. Ketel Marte. If you're in Arizona, especially, you've been kind of watching this, and you're probably sitting there going, what the heck is going on here? This guy, Ketel Marte, after the whole debacle last season, he missed August 17th game in Arizona against Boston without properly communicating at all to the club. The Diamondbacks initially put him on restricted list after this. Manager Lovella was pissed. He said he felt hurt, betrayed because of the communication or lack thereof. They moved him to all of a sudden they moved him to the injured list with a left knee inflammation. Then after that, there was another round where Marte was seen at Casino Arizona, I believe it was, when the Diamondbacks were playing Cincinnati. Lovella commented on that as well and said, well, he was allowed to be there. He was doing his training and stuff for the day at Salt River. And then so at nighttime, he gets to do whatever he wants. So he went to the casino. Totally just BS coverage for whatever's going on, right? There's something here. The Ketel Marte story, it keeps getting stranger and stranger. We are criticizing him, rightfully so at this point, I think.
Yes.
But we don't really understand what's actually going on or what he's going through. Is there really something here on a personal level that's happening? Or is this guy just a flat out prima donna that just when he decides he doesn't want to play and wants to spend time with his family, that's what he's going to do? That was the fodder last year that people started saying, and it's repeated itself this year. So you got to start thinking, how much responsibility does this guy have to take to make sure they communicates what's going on, including the organization? How much responsibility do they have to take? Because when you see a guy out at the casino on a night where your team is playing the Reds
at home,
it
wasn't like they were on the road.
Right.
Like they were. He was about 25 minutes from the stadium,
and this is a prime player on your squad while you're fighting for a wild card spot, and he's out playing blackjack. Is he fracturing the clubhouse? What's going on, right? There needs to be answers here. And I feel like he's just not taking the responsibility, nor is the club, to really clarify what the heck is going on. And I think the fans in Arizona deserve an explanation at this point. Because like I just said, there's a lot on the line here. This is probably their best player, and they're not getting an explanation. They're just getting a bunch of lip service. So that's my thoughts.
This has been going on for years now, and he's always had the benefit of the doubt. His mother passed away, which is always tragic.
Sure.
And then last year, it was the whole weird thing where he went to the All-Star break, and then he went AWOL from the team to go back to the Dominican Republic when he was supposed to report into the team instead, but he wanted an extra day, and they said no, but he decided he was just going to leave anyways. And that's when his house was broken into. And what I want to note here is a lot of people at the time did not fully understand the timeline. Marte had already gone AWOL. Marte was already in the Dominican Republic. He was in the Dominican Republic when he found out his house had been broken into. A lot of people just assumed, oh no, he went AWOL because his house was broken into. No, he went AWOL and then his house was broken into. So, but a lot of people didn't like fully put that together at the time. So they kind of just kept writing it off. And then there was the incident in Chicago with the White Sox fan that got banned from the stadium because he allegedly was saying stuff about Marte's mom during a game. He got a bunch of public support for that. And throughout this whole time, there were two local sports radio hosts, Dan Bickley and John Gamba, who had consistently reported and said, like Marte is a prima donna. Like, he's having these issues. He's constantly asking for days off when other players wouldn't even dream of it. Like, they all started to kind of like let that trickle out, and Diamondbacks fans attacked him for it. You know, why are you pushing this narrative? Why are you trying to divide the clubhouse? Why are you guys doing this? But it was true. And we're seeing this again, where when Marte doesn't get his way, when he asks for a day off and he doesn't get it, he either phones in a performance or fakes an injury. And I hate to say that he's faking this injury, but it's hard to believe he's not.
Right.
That day in Boston, they knew where he was originally. Apparently, they knew he was back at the team hotel. He was already there. He just stayed there. They waited until 10, 15 minutes before the game before they finally submitted their lineup card. And so, like, it was just a and then afterwards, they didn't know where he was by the end of the game. But it's just a terrible look. He just leaves without talking to anybody. He pretends like he needs this MRI. The team continues to enable it. You have the president of baseball operations, Derek Hall, saying, I have no idea what's going on the radio. It's not even like he was quoted as hearing this from a secondhand source. He himself was like, I don't know what's happening. And he continues to get away with this. The D-backs missed their chance to trade him for anything valuable. And after this catastrophe, they're not going to be able to trade him this offseason either. So now they're going to be stuck with this prima donna who has to have his way or he doesn't play, or they're going to have to cut him and they're still going to have to pay him. So you're stuck in this, lose-lose situation. And his own teammates now are having to answer for him not being there. And his own teammates are out there saying, we don't know what he's doing. Like, he needs to apologize to us. Like, we are a team. He should be here with us. So I just think this whole situation's so weird. And I think that a lot of stuff happened that continued to let Marte kind of get away with it. And now finally the buck is stopping and there's no more hiding. It's just too public, and the D-backs, as hard as they're trying to cover it up, just can't keep covering up. I would love to see what happens when he hits the offseason and what the D-backs do. Because at this point, I think I'd be fine with just trading him for a sack of peanuts.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is just not good. There's nothing good about this. You got to put it. This is where the Diamondbacks have to step in and be the right organization. Unless they know something that we don't know, that they don't want to put out there, that they should put out there if they do know, because they're making this man, if that's the case, look terrible.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm really curious to see how this is going to wind up. I thought Marte would not come back this year. I really don't believe he'll be back after this year, period. And I don't even know that he'll be in baseball. Who knows what's going on with this guy? There might be something bigger happening. We just have no clue. But it's a bad look for the franchise. It's a bad look for him. And it's just not good if you're a Diamondback fan, which I'm not. But if I was, I'd be pretty pissed right now.
I am.
Yeah, I know. You are. So you have every right to be upset about what's going on right now. I'm with you. All right. From the weird to a good story. If you're a Tampa Bay Ray fan, they finally, and I mean finally, are getting their new stadium. And it's about time. They finally got the government approvals. They're going to be in Hillsborough County because the Hillsborough County Commission is the one that approved the plan 5-2 this last Friday. And they are going to be getting approximately a $2.3 billion new stadium for the Tampa Bay Rays, who I prefer to call the Devil Rays. They've been trying to do this for a couple decades. This is not something that just happened. This has been a big deal. People feel that this will finally make the Devil Rays a legitimate organization, as far as they'll actually be able to put their feet in the ground now, start spending money on this team to really turn it into a bigger contender than they are now. And even though they're playing great ball, but to really establish the fact that we're in Tampa, we're not going anywhere anytime soon. We're committed to this organization. We're committed to this area. We've got this beautiful new stadium, and we're going to go ahead and build this right. This is a great thing for Tampa Bay. I'm excited for the Rays. I do like that organization. I've always thought they've done a really good job putting really competitive teams on the market, even with the minimal amount of money they've actually spent at times. Kind of remind me of the Brewers a little bit. So I'm really excited for them. I think this is a great thing for Tampa.
Same. I'm really excited that they're going to have somewhere that they can finally call home again. And like you said, they're not going anywhere anytime soon after this. This is a huge commitment. They themselves are committing at least $1.3 billion plus any cost overruns. So I think that that's huge. I think that this is going to be something that they want to succeed. They're proving that they want this to succeed. And I hope it does. I really hope that this becomes a team that, with just a little extra money, like we're seeing what they're doing on their shoestring budget. I would love to see what they do when they can start putting more and more money into the team.
Yep, I agree, 100%. All right. Any other baseball things you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I really don't want to get into it.
No, it's football time, baby.
It's football. Well, before we talk American football, we've got to touch on international football. So real quick, I've already talked about the Bundesliga getting back today. We know that the Serie A and Premier League started up last week, which of course Napoli won 2-0, which was a big win for them. They play Como, I think, tomorrow. Looking forward to that. That's just a personal thing. But you brought up a very good story between UEFA and FIFA, where things are starting to get a little serious. I'm going to let you attack this and go into what is going on here, because I kind of like this story.
This is so good. This is somebody is finally taking a stand. So UEFA is preparing a criminal complaint in Swiss courts against Infantino. So for those of you who do not remember and kind of just brushed it aside because you're American and once the World Cup ended, you stopped caring about soccer, there was a failed plan to sell the World Cup profits to private investors. The World Cup is a nonprofit. You can't do that. It's kind of one of the things that you're like, you don't have that ability to sell that. So he attempted to do this. Everyone said no. That his own employees said no. His own high-ranking employees in FIFA said no. All of the various leagues around the world all said no. Like, this isn't happening. We're not going to let it. And so finally he said, okay, my bad. I was a little bit too corrupt there. And he backed off and he said no. Well, now UEFA who is the governing body for European soccer, it's now finally said enough is enough. They have withdrawn their support for Infantino to become president at the next election, which I believe is happening this year or next year, sometime very soon. And a couple other leagues have kind of sided with them, and they are now filing court documents. They did this on Thursday, basically seeking access to evidence for their plan to sell off. And they are basically making a play to bring criminal charges against Infantino and to basically get him out of football, which I personally think is fantastic. And I fully support it.
This guy's so corrupt.
Yeah.
He's one of the worst, and it's so blatant, and they've got so much on him. It's not even, how does he just not step down? Right? You got caught, dude. Just step down.
You would think, but like, why would he?
I mean, he's going to go to jail. He should go to jail. He probably won't, but he should go to jail.
He should. I want to notate one thing about this is I don't know exactly why they're doing this in Switzerland. I don't know if that's like where the World Cup is like officially based. Oh yeah, that's where FIFA is currently. That's where their home city is.
That's their headquarters, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's why they're doing it in Swiss. However, the Swiss are apparently very bad at this in terms of getting corruption and fraud cases successfully prosecuted. Apparently, they're not very good at it. They have very rarely won these cases, and so like it's gonna be hard to tell how much more validity this one has.
Right.
They already are concerned about evidence being destroyed. So
that wouldn't happen. Come on.
I know. No one would ever do that. That's illegal. But yes, I will say, yeah. So March of 27, there is a FIFA election. And just like during the World Cup event, Infantino was widely considered to basically just win it fairly easly. However, a lot of soccer federations are taking away their support, and a lot of them are, including UEFA, are calling on him to step down. So we will see how this all plays out. I'm hoping at minimum he steps down from FIFA, and at best he is thrown in jail.
Not harsh at all. I back you.
Not harsh enough.
I agree with you 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
All right. Enough about that idiot. Let's real quickly. Luke and I have committed to our international soccer clubs, unlike Philip Amorine, who is just weak when it comes to this because he doesn't like it, so it hurts his feelings. Mm-hmm. So I just want to real quickly go over our teams. In Premier League this week, Man City beat Crystal Palace 4-1 yesterday. Man City is my team. Mm-hmm. Luke's team is Liverpool, who tied Nottingham Forest today 2-2. So not bad. I don't even remember who Phil's team was. I don't even want to remember. And then when we look at Serie A, let's see here. Luke has Bologna, and they play Monday against Atalanta. And then I am a Napoli guy, and they play Como tomorrow at 12:30. I'll be watching that game. So I think Phil had Parma. They're going to lose to Juventus today. So just keeping track of our teams as we do, and we will talk more about them as the season gets going. I'm excited. I watched a lot of soccer last week. I'm a big soccer guy. I think it's a great sport. It's an awesome sport. American people don't like it because there's not enough scoring, I guess. I don't know. I think it's a fantastic sport. So just had to throw it out there.
It's for me, it's not necessarily just the scoring. I just need more pace. When I watch the ball get kicked back to the defender 100 times in a row and they just kind of kick it around between themselves for a minute or two or three or four, or sometimes it feels like 100 before they finally like make a move to attack. To me, that is, I just can't sit through that much of it. Okay. If it was all attacking all the time, I would be more invested in it.
If you had to run around for 90 minutes and, you might feel differently.
Hey, I know I'm not a world-class athlete. I don't make any claims to be, but they claim to be. I have higher expectations for them.
Yeah. Okay. And then we already talked about our Bundesliga team. So we played each other. My Dortmund team beat your Hamburg team 2-0. So just to say that. And then we know Rich's team got lucky this week as well. So
Of course.
we'll just kind of move on from that. All right. Time for the NFL.
I will say before we start NFL,
Sure.
North Carolina Tar Heels up 15-10. They got a safety.
Shocking.
Defensive coordinator doesn't show up, and their defense is apparently what's going to carry them. Not a great look, in my opinion.
What an upset this is if North Carolina pulls this off.
Yeah, there's only 9 minutes left in the third. So here we go.
I don't know, man. I need to go check what the line is right now if I wanted to take TCU.
There's still right now. Oh, that was at close. Right now, line is minus 115 on DraftKings for both.
I might have to throw something on here. I'm going to definitely throw something on SC here in a minute.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. I'm kind of shocked by that, but we'll see how it plays out. NFL, one of my favorite teams we should talk about. This is like one of my favorite teams. Jed York.
Yep.
Jed York. What are you doing?
Come on, man.
Let me see if I can remember what he did. This had to do with a prostitution ring, didn't it? He was arrested in Ohio following a prostitution sting. He was accused of engaging in prostitution and later pleaded no contest to a lesser misdemeanor charge. Of course, Roger Goodell said the NFL is reviewing it, and they'll look at putting it under the league's personal conduct policy. So players routinely face league discipline for off-field activities, whether it's punching your wife in the face in an elevator. We all know who that was. Or other things that they stupidly do sometimes. So shouldn't owners as well have to face disciplinary actions from the league if they violate these kind of policies? I think they should.
Absolutely, they should.
There's an argument that says no.
There's an argument that says no?
Right. There's an argument out there that says, no, he's the owner. He doesn't have to play by those rules. I've seen this argument. If you punish him, you're punishing the team, and it's his team. You can't do that. I don't agree with that.
No, absolutely. I could punish him. I should be holding him to a higher standard.
I would think so, right?
Yeah.
But
if my boss does something wrong, they still get in trouble. If the CEO of the company I work for does something wrong, they still get in trouble.
But how do you punish a billionaire?
You fine him $1 billion. Make him broke.
Right, because they're not going to fine him a ton of money.
It is tough because it's like any amount of money that you would fine him for is either so insignificant to him that it doesn't matter, or it's so significant that you have to go overboard. It is like, and you can't suspend him for games because like he's not playing in them.
Right.
And I don't know if I do not know enough details. I don't want to speculate on whether or not what he did was or wasn't bad enough to make him sell the team. But even
him, prostitute.
Listen,
I don't think they were playing bingo. Maybe a form of bingo. I don't know.
I don't know if what he did is severe enough to make him sell the team. But honestly, even if they did, like, hey, we caught you with the prostitute. Now you're going to make probably $5 to $7 billion because you sell the team. That's your punishment. We're gonna force you to sell for billions of dollars because realistically, that's what the Niners would go for if he sold them. I don't know what percentage of an owner he is.
Yeah,
but if they sold it, like the team would be valued at $10 billion.
Well, yeah, because the Seahawks just sold for what, $9.6 billion?
I believe so.
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to see what percentage he owns.
That's what I'm trying to find out too.
I'm really curious because if it's a huge percentage, I mean, it's 88%.
Yeah, Jed York and his family own 80 to 90% of the franchise.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the major guy.
Yeah.
This, I think, where this story gets interesting, not only because I hate the Niners, so it makes it fun, but where it really gets interesting is this is going to see what credibility the personal conduct policy has, right? So this is what's really happening here. What do we do with this personal conduct policy when an owner does something stupid, like when a player does something stupid? My thought, of course you can fine him. I think you give him a hefty fine, but I don't think that really hurts him that much, but you still give him a hefty fine.
Yeah.
I think where you have to hit him is you got to hit him low. Loss of draft compensations. Let's take draft pick away or two. Let's make it really hurt the organization, where you're going to think twice if you're an owner about doing something this stupid because you know you're going to lose something valuable to the organization. That would make sense to me. That's very impactful.
I don't know if I agree or not.
You have to agree.
I don't.
It makes sense. Because what else can you do to this guy? Were you going to say you can't come to the games? Oh, well. You're going to fine him $1 million? Who cares? That does nothing.
I don't disagree with that. I had not considered punishing the entire team.
I think you have to. He's the owner.
Is there any precedent for this?
No. Well, I mean, when a player gets punished, it punishes the team, especially if he's a good player.
Yeah, but like if a player does something, the team doesn't lose a draft pick. They might lose him, but he also loses his paycheck.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, I don't know if there's ever been a situation. I'm sure there has, but normally if it's a situation this bad, you just force them to sell the team.
I think that's extreme.
I don't disagree, especially did you see the video?
No.
They released the body cam footage of him getting arrested.
Okay.
And if I did not go into it knowing that it was Jed York, I would have never in a million years guessed that it was a billionaire. He's driving like a mid-sized SUV. He's like wearing shorts and a polo, I think. Like, he's just talking. He's very clearly trying to play dumb. And he does it pretty well. So just like the whole thing is just such like it was almost surreal. It felt almost like it was like staged. I know it wasn't, but it was crazy to watch the whole experience like play out. But I don't know if like, it's so hard for me to say that we should punish the Niners with draft pick. That seems like
it's easy for me to say because I hate the Niners.
I mean, yeah, this feels like you're just punishing the Niners for being the Niners. Like, I feel like if the Seahawks owner did this, you'd be saying, oh, just give them a fine and that's it. What draft pick are you thinking? What draft picks would you take away?
Mid-round.
Like a fourth?
A third, fourth, or fifth, depending on the severity of the issue. If it was a major severe issue, I would pull a first, but that'd have to be something big.
Yeah. I could if they did it, I wouldn't be hugely upset by it. Because at the end of the day, he is the owner. He is a representation of the organization. Yeah, I could see it.
I mean, let's look at the policy. The policy prohibits any behavior that is considered conduct detrimental to the integrity of the public confidence in the NFL.
Oh, he broke it 100%. I don't think there's any debating that.
So he breaks this. It's a public irresponsibility piece is what he broke, right?
Yep.
Pretty big deal. Now, bitter Dolphin fan asks an interesting question. But what if it was in Nevada where it's legal?
Then he wouldn't have been arrested.
True. So, but does that make it okay?
In this regard, yes.
So if he's in Nevada and he pays for sex, that's okay.
Specifically,
but if he's in Cali and does it, it's not.
Specifically in the it's not legal in all of Nevada. It's only legal in certain areas. So,
well, in Vegas,
it's actually not legal in Vegas.
Not anymore.
No,
Used to be.
It never was officially legal in Vegas. It's
Okay.
legal just outside Vegas.
Mustang Ranch. All
Yes.
right. He's at Mustang Ranch. He's in Tonopah, wherever he is. Not Tonopah, but he's over there in the Mustang Ranch, and he goes there and he does his thing. That's fine.
From a NFL standpoint, yes.
If he goes to Europe and he does drugs because they're legal, that's fine.
From an NFL, depending upon if there's video of him doing something crazy because of the drugs, that's different. But based off what you've read from what the conduct detrimental to the league thing passage that you read, that would be fine as long as he does not get caught doing something crazy while on the drugs.
I think this poses an interesting question, though, right? Because things are legal and illegal in different places.
And that's the thing. I don't think the NFL cares that he was paying, that he allegedly was going to pay for sex. I think
Allegedly.
the NFL cares that he was arrested and that there's now this video of him being arrested. I think that's what they care about. Because technically he's not even being charged with solicitation or whatever the charge is. I think solicitation is the prostitute.
According to the policy, even if a person visits a legal state-regulated brothel, the NFL can independently determine that the publicity surrounding the act brings negative public scrutiny to the sport, triggering an investigation and a fine.
And that's the key, though. If he's going to a legal brothel, he's not getting arrested and he's not getting it videoed and he's not getting it put on the internet. So no one's going to know it's happening.
So even if his conduct, it just tells us he's a dirtball, in a sense. So what we're saying is you can't be a dirtball. Because it gives the NFL a negative look.
Exactly. Like at the end of the day, that's it. The NFL doesn't care whether or not he hires a prostitute. It doesn't care if he does a bunch of illicit drugs. It doesn't care, honestly, if he murders someone. It cares if he gets caught doing any of those things.
So,
and if it makes them look bad.
To answer your question, Rich, even if it's in Nevada where it's legal, it's still a violation if the league feels it made the league look bad or give them negative publicity in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line per their code of conduct.
Yes. Obviously, all of us are going to have different feelings and opinions on whether or not it should or shouldn't be punished at that point. But yeah, the league just does not care about whether or not it's legal. They just care whether or not they look bad. The integrity of the shield, as Roger Goodell likes to say.
The integrity of, boy, we can have that conversation.
The integrity of the shield?
Yeah.
And lack thereof?
Lack thereof. I mean, we can have that conversation for 5 hours.
We only have 32 minutes.
Yeah, let's skip. I wish Phil was here for this one. Deshaun Watson.
Oh, we're doing that one next.
Let's do that one first. Deshaun Watson was named Cleveland's QB1. To none of my surprise, none of your surprise, all of Phil's surprise. Or maybe your surprise too. But all of Phil's surprise.
A little surprise.
So Todd Monken, who is the Cleveland mostly qualified head coach, which I think he's an absolute clown, officially named Deshaun Watson the starting quarterback for week 1 against Jacksonville. He said the decision came down to Watson giving Cleveland the best chance to move the football and score after evaluating the offseason, the camp, preseason, everything, not just the preseason games, the offseason, the camp, the preseason, the joint practices, everything that he had in front of him, said to him, Watson gives us the best chance to score, gives us the best chance to be in a game, right? I agree with this 100%. I think Shedeur Sanders doesn't even have the talent to be a backup in this league. That's my opinion. I don't think he commands a huddle well. I don't think he's good in the locker room. I think he has too many issues and he doesn't seem to be getting the game down. I think the game is too fast for him, where typically in year 2, the game kind of starts to slow down. I don't feel it's slowing down for him. And I just always thought that the guy was just never that good of a prospect. And I still feel that today. So that being said, is this a good move? I think it is. I think you go with the veteran, even though he hasn't been playing the last few years, and he's had his own personal conduct issues, obviously. But that's all in the rearview mirror. You got to get past that. They've paid a lot of money guaranteed for this gentleman, and you can't let that money just sit on the bench when he's physically able to be on the field. And he has the talent that we know he has because we've seen it in the past. Because a few years ago, everybody wanted this guy. Everybody. There wasn't a team that would have said no to this guy. I think it's the right move. What do you think?
One, I want to address. I don't know if Todd Monken even made this decision.
Okay.
He said, and I quote, "Those are organizational decisions. That's the way it runs. We talked about it. We had conversations about it, and we landed on this." He also he admitted that there wasn't anything specific that like made Watson stand out compared to Shedeur. So I don't think Todd Monken wanted to start Deshaun Watson. I think he was told to start Deshaun Watson. And I was a little surprised by this. I fall square in the middle between you and Phil on Shedeur Sanders. I do not think he's nearly as good as Phil likes to think he is, but I don't think he's nearly as bad as you think he is. I think he is just a young quarterback who had a high floor but a low ceiling, and is just a okay guy who might be a backup long-term in the NFL. I don't know why you would start Deshaun Watson. I don't know what you're getting out of it. The fans hate him. They have made that very clear from day one. He hates the fans. He made it pretty clear last week. I don't know if I have ever seen a fan group cheer for their starting quarterback to be hurt, seriously hurt. I don't know if I've ever seen that until the Browns fans did it to Deshaun Watson. So you're not doing this for good publicity because you know that the relationship between him and the fans is bad. You're also a bad team. You're not good. You're not going to be successful this year, regardless of who your quarterback is. So, like, why are we trying? Why are we not just saying, hey, if Shedeur is this bad, let's start him, and we can either prove he's this bad and get a good draft pick while doing it, or he proves that he's not bad, and now we don't have to spend a draft pick on another quarterback. So it's just, to me, starting Deshaun Watson just doesn't make sense because no matter what, I don't think you're going to be a good team. I think starting Deshaun Watson, even if he does play well or even average, I think all he does is make it harder for you to get a good draft pick, but you're still not going to be close to a playoff spot. Like, I think you're still fourth in the division at best.
I mean, I can give you 46 million reasons to start him.
Why?
It's $46 million you're paying this man.
So, and you're going to pay it to him no matter what.
Right. So why not get something out of it?
But what you're getting out of it is a worse draft pick, probably.
But let me ask you this. 5 years ago, this guy was the best thing since sliced bread.
Sure.
Right? He was great.
Yeah.
He really was.
He was arguably a top 5 quarterback.
Easily, right?
Yes.
I mean, everybody wanted this guy. No doubt. I remember as a Seahawks fan back then, and when he was a free agent, I wanted him. I saw how great he was, but the price tag was crazy. When the Browns gave him that guaranteed $230 million or whatever it was just insane. Who gives that contract? But they did, which they're paying for now.
Yes.
But this guy has 7 years of experience. We know he's a winner. He can be a winner. We know he can be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league when he's right. We've seen it. What if this guy starts and he starts being the guy that he was? You put yourself in a position now with a guy like that to say, okay, going forward, do we really need to focus on searching for another quarterback, doing this, doing that? He'll get the fans' favor back if he starts playing well. You know he will. You know how fans are. As soon as he goes out there and starts putting points on the board, they'll be buying his jersey. all over again. The fans' memory is like a goldfish. It lasts 10 seconds, right? They're going to remember that this guy's putting points on the board and they're maybe in games. Maybe they're not winning every game because their talent overall on that team is a lot to be desired. But if he's doing his job and he looks good doing it, why wouldn't you reconsider maybe building around him going forward? He's still not old. He's still got the ability if he shows it this year. Why? You know what Shedeur Sanders is. I'm sorry. You know exactly what Shedeur Sanders is. He's what you said. He's maybe a backup. Dylan Gabriel doesn't look like he's been able to do much. I'm not sure he'll ever do anything. We'll see. But you have a deep enough draft next year that even if you're middle of the road, you still can get a good quarterback. There's 6 or 7 guys coming out next year that can be top quarterbacks in this league. So I think you're okay there. Give the guy his shot, pay him his $46 million, let him play, and see how he does. And if you're halfway through the season and you're actually winning some games and he's playing good ball, then you made the right decision. And if he's not, and you made the wrong decision, then you give Gabriel and you give Shedeur Sanders a shot to see what you've got for the rest of the year, and if you got anything you can build on, or if you just need to draft the guy next year. That's what I would do.
I think we're misremembering how long it's been since he has been good and on a winning team. His last year in Houston, Deshaun Watson, he threw for 4,800 yards. 2020, he threw for 4,800 yards. Really good. He had 33 touchdowns, 33 passing touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah,
all of that, very, very good. Do you know what their record was his last year in Houston?
I don't.
4-12.
Yikes! But that was his fault.
But I think that goes to show, though, like he can have that. He could. If you told me that the Pro Bowl starting quarterback for my team threw for 4,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and I don't have his rushing stats right here, but I'm assuming. Here we go. And then he ran for another 400 yards and ran for another 3 touchdowns.
That's a year.
And that's a great year. And then if you told me that my record at the end of the year was 4-12,
you know what I tell you? You have one player on your team.
Yeah. And guess what? He's going to be the only player on the team this year.
But what if he has, let's just say he has a year like that.
What if I learn how to fly tomorrow?
Do you keep him and build around him?
No.
Why not?
Because the past 4 years, he was missed a year, I believe, due to the suspension. And then
he had injury too, didn't
he? So that's the thing. He didn't play at all in 21. 22, he only played in 6 games. Wasn't particularly great in those 6 games. 23, he played in 6 games. Wasn't particularly great in those games. 2024, he played in 7 games. Wasn't particularly great in those games. He ended up with a total record of 9-10 playing for Cleveland so far. And then he missed all of last year. I think that, like, yes, there is some dream world fantasy where he ends up playing like he did in 2020 or earlier, but that's not what's going to happen. That is
9-10 for Cleveland is pretty impressive. Would you not agree? Think about Cleveland.
The majority of that was from his 23 season when he went 5-1. He was not responsible for the 5-1 record. It was in spite of him, not because of him. That was when the defense was elite in carrying them, and they still had some other talent and weapons in Cleveland. They don't have any of that. Their best weapon is Jerry Jeudy. This is not a good team.
Oh, geez.
So, like, you're paying him the money regardless. Why are we wasting a season in the hopes that maybe this injury-riddled player who hasn't shown that he can be elite in 5-6 years now, like, what are we doing? I
think if you were to start Shedeur Sanders, you have a real shot at not winning a game this year.
Good.
I mean, seriously.
Good.
He's that bad.
That's first overall pick. He's not that bad, but that's still your first overall pick.
He makes one good pass every 10 or 11.
No.
He's terrible. And
he's not.
Every time he has pressure on him, he runs in the wrong direction and takes a 20-yard sack. He has no feel for the game at all.
He is
None.
not that bad.
It's too fast. I'm telling you right now, the game is too fast for him. Way too fast for him.
But either way, I would rather have the first overall pick next year than pick 10 or 11, regardless of how deep the draft is. Being able to say, I get to pick my guy no matter what because I get the first pick is better than any other option. And I would rather have Shador and do that than play Deshaun and win maybe 6 games and get nothing for the 6 wins because the fans are still not going to like him. Unless he brings them to the playoffs, the fans, he's not going to do enough good to make the fans want to buy his jerseys again. That relationship is just gone. I am legitimately waiting for the videos and clips that are going to come out week 3 when Cleveland has their first home game. I cannot wait to see the reaction. I am so intrigued.
Do you think, I thought about this, what you're just saying. First of all, Bitter Dolphin fan says, goldfish. Was that a Ted Lasso reference? It absolutely was, by the way. Good catch. Love Ted Lasso. I was thinking about what you just said. They start on the road the first 2 games. Is Watson just going to start those 2 games and then they're going to go to Shador or Dillon in game 3 because they're going to be home?
Maybe.
The only way they couldn't do that is if they come out of those first 2 2-0, you've got to start them.
Sure.
Right? But I thought about that. I wonder if they give him 2 games and see how he does. And if it's a disaster, they just go to Shador for the home start.
I know I've seen a few people talk about that, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's what's happening, just so they can at least give him a shot not at home. But he's not going to get a good reception anywhere.
If they're 2-0 going home, you don't think he gets a good reception?
No.
Come on.
Unless he's averaging like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns a game. And even then, I think he's going to get a mixed reception. There is no version of this planet where he gets a standing ovation coming home. He, at best, will have a mixed reaction of some cheers and a lot of boos.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you got to play $46 million. That's just me.
You're paying it either way. I don't know why I would pay him and not get the best result. I don't know why I'd sit him and attempt to get the best result for my team.
Even if I play him for all my road games, I'm going to play him. Maybe he's the road quarterback and Shador will be the home quarterback.
That would be absolutely hilarious. And I would love to see that.
I would actually like to see that. I think that would be setting a new precedent and that'd be funny.
A platoon quarterback?
Yeah, only because you don't want him playing in front of your own fans. Yeah. Matter of fact, he doesn't even dress for home games.
Yeah, that would be so good, actually. By the way, end of the third quarter, Tar Heels still up 15-10. TCU made a very deep drive and then failed to convert on 4th and 1 on the UNC 5-yard line.
This may be the beginning of the Bill Belichick era.
It may be. Maybe we were wrong.
I doubt it. Okay, this story. Let's just put this story to bed finally. Could Aaron Donald actually come back?
No.
I'm sick of this talk. I'm sick of this topic. I'm sick of Phil bringing it up. I brought it up because I wanted to put it to bed. It's never going to happen.
It's not.
If you watch video of Aaron Donald working out, he looks slow and old. He looks like a guy that's been sitting for a while. Granted, he's still a beast. He's Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
But he's removed 2 seasons now. He's a little slower. He's a little older. Ram fan, just let it go. It's not happening. He's not coming back. You've got Myles Garrett. Enjoy the fact that you have Myles Garrett. And enjoy him for however many years you're going to get him for. But Aaron Donald, he did what he could for you. He's done. You got a ring with him. You're done. Stop talking about this.
100% agree.
Right? I know we're on the same page with that.
I'm tired of talking about it. Right. He's not coming back. If he was, he would have made a decision by now. This is just a charade. His wife, I don't think, would let him come back.
No.
So I'm ready for it. I just want them to be done. And I'm glad because tomorrow's cut down day. And I'm sure at that point, like, it will be fully locked in what the roster is, and it will not include Aaron Donald.
And everybody will stop talking about this after tomorrow.
Thank God.
This is probably my favorite piece of news from the week. The NFL is eliminating the Pro Bowl game. Thank God.
Hallelujah.
Since
did
they
it.
went away from a true Pro Bowl game to this absolute joke of a weekend of stupidity, it's been a nightmare. I hated watching it. I didn't watch it after the first year. It's a mockery for what that really ever has been in the past. Pro Bowl is always an honor to get that designation. And that designation will still exist, right? So players will still be Pro Bowl players. They will be classified as that. There just will not be any type of event around that. So do I wish they would go back to an AFC, NFC actual game the way they used to? I wish they would. I think that was always fun where they went to Hawaii and they played this game. Actually, they played the final 5 minutes of the game typically, but it was still kind of fun to watch. They've gone off the deep end over the last few years with all these Pro Bowl games, as they call it. And I'm glad they finally got rid of it. I think the fans had enough. I think the fans were really vocal about it. And I know I was sick and tired of it. I couldn't stand it. So I'm glad this happened. What do you think? You're glad? Happy?
I'm so happy. This needed Tyler Huntley was a Pro Bowler with like 4 starts. Shador was a Pro Bowl last year.
Ridiculous.
Gardner Minshew was a Pro Bowler, I believe, in one random year. Like they just completely and utterly made this an embarrassment. There are legitimate Pro Bowlers from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, who now, when you look back on it, will seem like it was like a joke, but like back then it actually meant something.
Yep.
And so it just got tainted and ruined. I'm glad that they finally went over and I'm glad that they're keeping the designation of it. I don't really know if you need to anymore because it just feels like that's going to be the same as All Pro now. So it feels like we're just going to kind of be duplicating All Pro, but like maybe adding more teams to it. I don't know how that's going to work, but yeah, I am glad that this is done. It was embarrassment. I wouldn't even be upset if they still did like a skills challenge the week before the Super Bowl. I didn't mind those types of like things. It's just when you try to like start doing flag football and all of that kind of stuff, it was like, no, just stop. We don't need this.
I said this last year. I really had felt that, especially you just made a really good point. They made Shador Sanders a Pro Bowler. I mean, to me, that was it for me. I was done. I was like, when we're going to start designating a player like that, who's not even a starter in this league, technically, a player like that as a Pro Bowler, we have now destroyed the term Pro Bowler. It has no value, no legitimacy. It's done, and they just need to abolish it. That was my stance last year. So I was very happy to see this. I think we could bring validity back to the Pro Bowl stance. You're right; it does kind of conflict with the All Pro, but you could probably bring some validity back to saying I was a Pro Bowler, because now it doesn't matter if you make the Super Bowl, if you don't make the Super Bowl. You just pick the Pro Bowl team and you're done. There's no replacements. If you're hurt, it doesn't matter, right? So that really elevates the status of being named a Pro Bowler. I kind of like that. I'm okay with them staying with that. Again, do I wish they had a Pro Bowl game like they used to? I do, because I always had fun with it. But okay, it's fine that we don't have it anymore. I'm good with that being gone. If you want to do a pure skills competition thing outside of calling it a Pro Bowl the week before the Super Bowl, just like an event or something, go ahead and take some of the top players in the league, and you can do that. Don't designate it as anything like award type. Just make it a fun event, right? A skills competition event. There's nothing wrong with that. Just don't give it a designation, because I think that's when you start ruining the term Pro Bowl, which is what we did. So yeah. I like this. I think it's really good. I like that there won't be alternatives and replacement selections anymore. I think that makes it more valid. And we go from there. But I'm very happy this was finally done. This needed to happen. Best move NFL's done in a while.
Yes, I'm glad that they finally recognized that nobody wants this anymore, and they finally took it out back and Old Yeller styled it.
Old Yeller styled it.
Yeah, you know.
I like that. This kind of got resolved a little bit yesterday. Kinda. Been watching the Raiders camp and been kind of, obviously I like Clint Kubiak for what he did for Seattle last year. I'm a fan of him. I hope he makes it as a coach. We'll see. Obviously the jury's out on that one. But I think it's been interesting how he wouldn't say who his QB1 is, even through yesterday's game. He hasn't announced a QB1 for this team. Now, he did finally come out yesterday and said like he felt Mendoza would need another 3 preseason games, suggesting that he still needs significant development. I think that was his way of saying this guy's not ready, right? But before yesterday, he was still kind of leaning on the whole competition thing, which I was like, what are you doing, man? Why are we creating this false sense of Mendoza is going to be the guy when we all know, we all said it. There's no way in the world Mendoza starts for the Raiders this year. Not anytime soon, anyway.
Yeah, he's not starting game 1.
Right.
To me, this is a bad sign from Clint Kubiak. I'm not going to jump the shark and say he's a terrible coach for doing this.
No.
But it is a bad sign to me when young coaches pretend like this matters. Like, this is not a real competition. Everyone knew from the moment you signed Kirk Cousins that he was almost certainly going to be your starter. If he wasn't, we would have heard more rumblings about it sooner because of an injury, or you would have just cut him because he wouldn't have been worth it. Like there's everyone knew what this was. We don't need to sit here and be like, oh, who's my starter? Who's my week 1 starter? You don't know. You have to prepare for both of them. Ha ha ha. No. Like, let's stop being ridiculous. Just name Kirk Cousins your starter. Like, it's just so frustrating when any coaches do this. Jonathan Gannon did this all the time. Whenever it's a lot of times it's younger coaches who think that they have to like keep secrets because it gives them a competitive edge. No, it really doesn't. Like everyone has access to the same preseason footage. They know Kirk Cousins is going to be the starter. Let's just nip this kind of stuff in the bud and just do our name, like do our depth chart, release it, name Cousins as our number 1 and go from there. I'm so annoyed by this tactic.
Mendoza looks like a rookie.
Yes.
If you've watched any of their preseason games, he's making a lot of mistakes. He's having troubles, which he should be. It's typical of what happens for these guys when they first come into the league. The game's a little faster. And when you're having troubles playing against the second and third team, I mean, you're not ready, man. You don't throw that guy into the mix with the ones and say, let's go. That's just a dumb thing to do. So I'm with you. I hate the games. I like it, Clint Kubiak. Stop playing games. We all know that Cousins is a starter. Let's just let him go out there. No one's expecting the Raiders to have this great season, right? They're all, they know what the Raiders are. They're a rebuilding team. You've got some good young players in place. You're going to take your licks. You're going to win games here and there where people thought you probably wouldn't win. And those are the good signs that you're looking for. But that's about it. That's what you're looking for this season. So you let Kirk Cousins play it out and you let Mendoza sit behind him and learn. Kirk Cousins has a lot that he can offer a young guy like that on the field, off the field, where he can really teach him how to get ready for his career as a number 1, which we know Mendoza will be probably next year.
Yeah.
So take this year and mentor him and have him learn. I'm all for that. I agree with that 100%. I'm like you. I hate the games. I don't understand the games. Bad coaches do that, in my opinion. So that's not a good sign for Clint.
Confirm. So one thing Rob just said Clint's a bad coach. Clip it.
Bad coaches do
Clip
that.
it.
It's the one thing I always remember, and I think back to Pete Carroll when he came to Seattle. He drafted Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. He gave him a real opportunity in the preseason to win the job, and he won the job. And he gave him the job and never wavered from it.
Yep.
That, to me, that's a coach, right? It's a true competition. This is not a competition. All right. One thing I wanted to mention that I'm happy about, Big Cat Leonard Williams got paid this week. They gave him a 3-year, $90 million extension. This will probably be his last contract. He'll finish his career in Seattle, where I know Seattle loves him. He loves Seattle. It's been a great place for him to be. So as a Seahawks fan, excited to see that Leonard Williams will finish his career in Seattle. He's still one of the best interior linemen in the game. He showed it last year, was a big impact player to get to the Super Bowl. So 3 years, $90 million, $56 million guaranteed. I think it's money well spent. He's 32 years old. This is it for him. So I think you'll still get some good stuff out of him for 2 years, and we'll see if the 3rd year even happens.
Good for him. Glad he got the contract.
He's a good guy. He's one of the few good guys, right?
Sure, I'm not going to pretend like I know much about him other than he is a elite player and he is worth the extension and the money.
I agree. Last thing, and then I can't believe we're already over.
I know.
I want your perspective as a Bronco fan. I really do. Because I know my perspective, and so mine doesn't mean anything, right? This is all about you. Okay?
Okay.
And I've heard this over and over. This is not just Ralph talking. This is the media talking.
Okay.
Why is the media disrespecting the Super Bowl champions this year? Not feeling that they even have a shot to repeat, when typically we see Super Bowl champions getting a lot of respect the next season and being talked about as potential repeaters. We are not seeing that this season with Seattle. They are being absolutely disregarded and thrown aside as, yep, they had a great year. They're a great team. They're not going to win this year. Why? Why? I want to know.
First of all,
me.
I don't think it's disrespect. I think this happens with a lot of teams who win the Super Bowl. I think maybe somebody's just taking. I didn't say all, I just said most. I think somebody who may or may not be a Seahawks fan is just taking this very personally. No one's disrespecting the Seahawks. They just unfortunately are in the tougher conference. They're in one of the toughest divisions. And they are sharing that division with somebody that most people consider to be the Super Bowl favorite because they went out and made massive moves to address issues they had. So I personally have not seen people necessarily disrespecting the Seahawks. I don't think that they're getting as much respect as the Chiefs. And I think that's understandable. When the Chiefs won it, they were working on dynasties and they had MVP quarterbacks and they had one of the greatest head coaches of all time. So the Chiefs are going to get more respect out of that than the Seahawks after doing it for 1 year. But I don't know. I'm not really seeing a ton of disrespect. I think they're just in a situation where most people still say they are the best, if not the second best team in the division. It's just, unfortunately, they shared the division with with the team that a lot of people think is the best team in the league.
But same narrative last year. Seattle's now returning 21 of 22 starters, okay, which is insane, off of a championship squad with an elite defense, a high-functioning offense.
21 of 22 starters?
Starters, yes. The only starter they lost was K9.
You didn't lose a single starter on defense?
They lost players on defense, but not starters.
Okay.
So they lost 21. They have 21 and 22 coming back. They have elite defense, which I think they've even made better. They have a very high functioning offense, which I think will be better with one more year in the system for Darnold, a year in the system for Shaheed, working together, all that stuff. And people are saying, nope, the Rams are just a better team. Well, we said that last year. It's all we talked about last year is how the Rams are the better team. That's all people kept saying. Yet Seattle raised the trophy.
Yeah.
I think, personally, there is still a disbelief of Sam Darnold. People do not believe he is a good quarterback. They do not, even though he has a ring, they don't believe he's a championship level quarterback. Even though he won the NFC championship on his back against those Rams, they only focus on, well, he didn't have a great Super Bowl. He didn't need to. He won the Super Bowl in the NFC championship game. He needed to have his best game of the year, and he had it. There's disbelief in his ability to do it again. I think that's what it is. And I'm telling you right here and right now, I think Sam Darnold this year will have the year of his life. Not that he hasn't had that the last 2 years and won 28 games in the regular season, but I think that he will have the year of his life, and people will still discount him because of his past with the Jets and the Panthers. My opinion.
Is it the same system with the new offensive coordinator?
It's almost the exact same. There's a couple different things with the tight ends, but it's pretty much the same system.
And so it's a system that's going to run the ball a lot?
Yeah, they're a run first. They're going to use a lot more 2 and 3 tight end motion, but they're a big, heavy run. And they've got Jadarian Price, who everyone has said looks phenomenal. Zach Charbonnet coming back. I mean, that offense is going to be, JSN coming back. I mean,
but
this is going to be
Darnold's going to have the best year of his career.
I think he will.
Okay.
I think he will.
I think he'll have a 5.
I think he'll push 5,000 yards this year.
That I think you might have
push.
been having
I didn't say
too
hit.
many.
I said push.
I think you might have been having too many mimosas before.
He had like 4,200 last year.
Yeah, so you think he's gonna get 600 more?
I do.
I think you might be sipping the Kool-Aid maybe a little bit too much.
All right. I mean, I feel it's disrespect. I just think you'll see, sports writers of America, sports writers in the NFL. If Seattle stays healthy, and I have to say that for anybody, they will repeat as champions.
Okay.
My opinion.
What a way to end it. Seahawks fan says Seahawks win Super Bowl.
This is why I wanted your opinion, and you gave it. All right. We got through it without Phil. That's our show, everybody.
We did it.
I thought it went pretty well, too.
I think so.
The one thing I love about this show, we move through topic after topic, and we talk about a lot of stuff. We don't want to bore you, so we go through stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So thanks, everybody, for taking part of your weekend and sharing it with us. Have a great weekend. Enjoy College Football Week 0, and we'll be back next week. Same time, same channel. We'll be reviewing Week 1 of the NFL. See you then.